The incredible results Lewis Hamilton just delivered at Monza have left Ferrari in absolute shock, and for good reason. No one, not even inside Maranello, expected this. Hamilton didn't just show up to the Temple of Speed as a 7-time world champion. He showed up like a man reborn in red. From the very first lap in free practice 1, it was clear something special was brewing. The SF25 didn't just look fast, it looked transformed, and Hamilton, he looked like he was born to drive this car on the circuit in front of these fans. The roar from the grandstands wasn't just about Ferrari anymore. It was about Hamilton, the new face of Ferrari's future, tearing down the main straight at 340 kilometers per hour, pulling purple sectors through Lesmo and making the car dance through Ascari like it was on rails. And then came the numbers. Fastest overall in FP1, consistent race pace in FP2. Set up so finely tuned it made the same car that crashed out in Zandvoort feel like a title contender just 2 weeks later. Ferrari's engineers watched the data come in and couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't just improvement, it was domination. At a track where straight-line speed is everything, Hamilton didn't just extract performance, he redefined it. What shocked everyone wasn't just the raw pace, but how at ease Hamilton looked calm in the garage. Laser focused on track, smiling with fans in the paddock. It was the perfect storm of experience, passion, and precision. He knew exactly where the grip was. He knew exactly how to push the limits. Above all, he knew exactly what this weekend means. Not just to him, but to the entire Ferrari legacy. This is the moment, Monza in red, and Hamilton has grabbed it with both hands. And let's not forget, he's doing all this while carrying a 5-place grid penalty. That should have been a setback. But instead, it's made him even more dangerous because he's not just fighting for pole, he's preparing for war on Sunday. And right now, Ferrari knows they've got a weapon in their hands, and its name is Lewis Hamilton. If you're loving this insane weekend as much as we are, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're a true Ferrari fan, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Because if this is just practice, imagine the race. The story of Lewis Hamilton's first proper Monza weekend in Ferrari red has taken a turn that no one inside the paddock quite expected. Yes, Ferrari were always going to be competitive at their home race. Yes, the SF25 had been heavily modified with a bespoke low-downforce package tailored for this circuit. But the way Hamilton used it in free practice, the way he immediately looked at one with the car, left not just the fans, but Ferrari's own engineers and strategists completely stunned. Friday practice sessions are usually about data gathering, about running through simulations, about ironing out balances. But for Hamilton, FP1 and FP2 felt like a declaration that this was not going to be just another Monza weekend where Ferrari hoped to be in the mix. This was going to be his show. From the very first laps of FP1, Hamilton looked settled. No hesitation on turning, no corrections mid-corner, no nervous rear end like we saw at Zandvoort or Hungary. His very first timed lap on the medium tyre was already within striking distance of the top of the timesheets. And what caught Ferrari by surprise was how little effort it seemed to require. The car wasn't being forced into compliance. It was flowing, rotating, and exiting with stability. Through the Variante della Roggia, one of Ferrari's weak spots all year, Hamilton was carrying 3 to 4 kilometers per hour more mid-corner speed and number that the engineers couldn't quite believe when they saw it on the telemetry. The braking stability was there. The traction was there. And Hamilton wasn't even leaning on the soft tyres yet. Then came the statement lap at the end of FP1. Track conditions were perfect. The fuel loads had come down and Hamilton bolted on a set of softs. His first sector wasn't even purple, he had margin in hand, but the second sector was a thing of beauty. Both Lesmos taken with a level of precision Ferrari simply hadn't achieved all season. Ascari clean, no twitch, and then flat through Parabolica in a way that drew gasps in the garage. Purple middle sector, fastest lap of the session, Ferrari 1-2, Hamilton on top. The engineers were smiling, but in truth, they were also shaking their heads in disbelief. This wasn't supposed to happen so quickly. They expected Hamilton to be competitive, not to immediately dominate the stopwatch at Monza, a track that has historically punished Ferrari when their concepts weren't absolutely perfect. FP2 is usually where reality sets in. Hotter conditions, more fuel in the cars, trickier wind direction. And yet this was where Hamilton impressed even more. While rivals like Verstappen and Norris focused on short-run pace to prepare for qualifying, Hamilton deliberately loaded the car heavy on fuel and asked for a race simulation. He wanted to know if the SF25 could carry this speed not for a lap, but for a stint. The answer was shocking. His average pace over a 10-lap run on the medium tyre was within 0.2 lap to lap, with virtually no drop-off. To put that into context, Ferrari's biggest problem all season has been inconsistency over a stint rear degradation, chewing through tyres, balance shifting unpredictably after 5 or 6 laps. But on Friday at Monza, Hamilton delivered a sequence of laps that looked like they were being stamped out of a machine. Lap 3, lap 5, lap 8. Each one mirrored the last. The delta lines almost perfectly flat. Engineers watching the telemetry exchanged looks of disbelief. They even double-checked the fuel settings to make sure there hadn't been a mistake. And then there was the straight-line speed. With the new ultra-low-drag rear wing, Hamilton's Ferrari was clocked at over 348 km per hour down the main straight during race simulations, consistently 2 to 3 km faster than Verstappen's Red Bull and matching McLaren. But what made it more potent was that he wasn't sacrificing corner stability to achieve it. Through Lesmo 2, his exit speed was clocked at 246 km per hour lap after lap, a figure that running lighter fuel only managed to touch once.